This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
The following episode of Charlotte, a City of International Success, is brought to you by Central Piedmont Community College and viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Maha Gingrich. Coming up next on Charlotte, a City of International Success, I will interview Dr. Nader Boulos. We're going to talk about what does it mean to be a hospitalist and what does it take to be a hospitalist. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Charlotte, a City of International Success. I'm Dr. Maha Gingrich. Today, our guest is Dr. Nader Boulos. He is a hospitalist at the Atrium. Dr. Boulos, welcome to our show. It's a pleasure having you, and also this whole title about the hospitalist. You know, all of us experience it at some point, but I did not know about it until I actually met you, and then I have a better understanding now. So I'm really looking forward to sharing with our viewers what that means. And also, the Atrium.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a name change, right?
It's a big new, yeah.
Can you tell me what that is actually right now? Carolina's.
Well, this is a new name for what used to be Carolina Healthcare System.
Okay, so this is a new name.
Yeah.
And so that is fine. We call it the Atrium at this point in time. You are originally from Egypt.
Yes.
Okay, Egypt, I love Egypt because there's so much history, such beautiful monuments and everything.
I was born in the southern part of the country, what they call in province of Minya, or the governance of Minya. This is how they divide the country into small provinces.
Oh, okay.
And
what is it called?
It's Minya.
Armenia, okay.
Minya, yeah.
Is that where you're brought up, or were you just born there?
My life was kind of exciting a little bit. So
I like
I was born there. I had almost all my education, my whole big family there. But then for some reason, my life was divided between the southern part and the northern part. And then
Okay,
a big,
so
yeah.
before we go there, what about your parents? What did they do?
Oh, my parents, my father used to be he worked in a bank.
Okay.
This is considered one of the good jobs in Egypt, actually. And not everyone gets to this position. Well, it used to be in the past.
Sure. The times change.
Yeah. And he used to be a hard worker. He used to work because he oversee like many branches of over the big area. He used to go out like 6 a.m. and comes back 6 p.m. And at the height of the season, sometimes 9 p.m. And he used to have like one day as a weekend. It was Friday. Then he goes back to work again. That's why he has been slim all his life.
Well, that makes sense too. Actually, you're right, because he's so active. That is a lot of work. And then so your mom, did she stay home because somebody has to stay home and take care of the kids?
Yeah, she was, in a way, we felt she's like the both parents initially, like when we were kids. And she was kind of tough.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and she always said like it's better to be like a good boy rather than having a boy who's not that good.
So how many siblings do you have?
2 sisters. I have 2 sisters.
Where are you in it?
One of them in Canada and one of them in Egypt.
Okay, so were you the middle child?
Yeah, I'm the middle child.
Oh, you're the middle child.
Yeah.
So only one boy. So no wonder your mom said, to make sure that you're a good boy, right?
Yeah, she was very generous in spanking. Yeah.
Sometimes I think that's good because
like right now when I look back at my life, I think she did the right thing.
Yeah.
It did help.
It did. See where you are today, right?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Sometimes we don't realize you're talking about your father, working so much. And in a family, when you have children like that, and one of the parents probably have to make that sacrifice to make sure that, the family is stable, financially stable in other ways too.
Definitely, yes. I mean, as kids, I did not see him a lot. And then when I was like a teenager, We, like you could classify my family as like mid zone of the middle class.
Okay.
But the only reason we enjoyed this kind of life is because of his hard work, and I understood that. Like even if he was like a ghost most of time,
Yeah.
you do not see
Growing
him.
up, yeah.
You really do not see him. Like I wake up, then I go to sleep, and I do not see him because of working. But then,
Wow.
but again, like this man is my greatest example. He has been a hard worker until the last minute, until retirement.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a inspiration, you know.
he is definitely.
Yeah, you know, great mentor. And you see that the responsibilities parents have, you know, to make sure their children do well. And it's a sacrifice for them too, because I'm sure he wanted to spend time with you, but when you have to do something like this to ensure that the children are secured, you know, you end up, and good, you know, working very hard, but good thing is your mother was home.
Yeah,
You know, so that is a good balance right there.
It was.
Yeah, it sure is. So, did you ever get a chance to take vacations, do anything, or was it all studying?
No, not really. We have like the summer vacation, like a couple
you
of
do?
months. Yeah, and then like during school and even in the medical school in the first 3 years, we had like a month and a half or 2 months.
Really?
Yeah, in the first 3 months, the
like
first 3
that.
years, because the medical school there is 6 years.
Yeah.
So the first 3 years we did have some time, but then the whole time off used to be spent in Alexandria. This is a big name in the old world, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Like almost all Europeans and most people know, even here in America, when I
Yes.
talk about Alexandria,
Yeah, beautiful.
it is. And interestingly, even if I spent only like a couple of months there or so, almost all my friends were in Alexandria. So I lived in the southern part for like 8 months or 9 months. And I had like a couple of friends, even if it's not a big family there.
Yeah.
But all my families and all the memories, most of it's like in Alexandria. It was a
Why
nice
do you
place.
think that is? Maybe because you were so busy at home, you know, in your hometown, and then you go there, you relax. And that's a long period to be there. And then you get a chance to play. I mean, I'm
Well,
trying to figure out how you could.
No, Alexandria is a big city. It's just like a city with lights. It's a pretty
okay.
place. And then when you have the good friends and you spend the
Yeah.
time there,
Oh, yeah.
these are, and it's like you spend on the Mediterranean. It's a pretty place, really pretty place. Something you cannot forget.
Yeah. So I'm sure they're still your friends. Some of
You
them.
know, as time goes by, like, you know, initially it's you call, give the phone calls, and then you end up the same discussion. Hello, hi, bye, hello, and then with time it dies out. Everybody gets busy in his life. So it has
Yeah.
been really few years since the last time I heard from any of them. So
Well, people do talk about that, saying nowadays people are so busy, you don't have a chance to call your friends, actually have a conversation. And then also the longevity of people living long, when you ask them what their secret is, they said it is their friends and the people they hang out with. They actually talk and they enjoy themselves. And then they said that is one of the secrets to their well-being. So maybe we all can follow that at some point, right?
yeah.
So what happened after that? Did you, when you went to college, is that a decision you made as to what field you're going to be in?
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like we had an aunt again, like the big family in southern part of Egypt. She had 4 kids, 3 of them doctors and 1 is pharmacist.
Ooh.
And like the whole big family, my father had like 4 sisters and 2 brothers. And the second generation, everybody looked up at this family with like this high standard of education. And you feel like it's the whole family in a race to see how many kids is going into the medical school. I have an aunt here in Chicago. Her two daughters, doctors, because of that.
Oh.
I am a doctor, and my sister is a doctor because of that.
Your sister is also a doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She used to be neuropsych, but she's a housewife now.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. And it's of course my father wanted to see his children like his sister's children. It wasn't him. He said it only once in his whole life, but for the sacrifices he did and everything he has done on his life, we really wanted to do it for him, me and my sister. And we felt really happy when we did it.
Yeah.
For my father more than, but now I know it's something good for myself.
Yeah, yeah. But initially that motivation came because you saw your father. I love that. What you're saying is you saw your father working so hard for you guys, and then you feel like we should do something for him. And then he only said it one time, and for you all to really remember that, for you to remember that, that is amazing too. It had to be a powerful statement.
I knew it's in him, even if he didn't say it. So I
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. That's I think a great gift. But at the same time, I'm so glad you did, because you've been a gift to many other people as a result of it. So how does the medical field work? I'm very curious in Egypt. Is it like you finish your bachelor's and then you go through your education, MB? What is that?
well, at the high school they have this system. I think this is only in the old world. It's not here. Like in France, they have similar thing. Anyway, it's like in the third year of the high school. You have to study hard, and then the whole country goes through the same exam. And then based on the score of this exam, the future of your whole life, like is really based on this score. Because you can get to medical school or pharmacy or whatever, or veterinarian or whatever, based on the score. You have to achieve certain score. And the School of Medicine is the highest top score.
Oh, wow.
And then next step, pharmacy. Next step, veterinarian. And next step is engineering. So you have to achieve it. It's all or none rule.
Oh.
And then after you achieve it and you get into the medical school, it's 6 years. And after the 6 years, you have this internship. And after the internship, which is like the general training, 6 months of all fields of medicine and pediatricians, and 6 months of medicine training, and 6 months of surgical training. You go through OB, general surgery, and all these things, and ENT. And after that, this is like, because it's everything you know, I don't know, it's something funny, like people are not used to hear this here. Everything is sponsored by the government, so you have to serve the country, because obviously the whole education, you pay a little. It's all by the government.
Oh, that is nice.
It is.
But it is not so foreign to us, because even in the U.S., there are many schools, like East Carolina. There are many schools that are funded by the government, hoping that when these graduates, when they finish their medicine, they would actually serve in the rural communities, because everybody gets attracted to urban communities. And then so how do you ensure that the rural communities are served? They have the medical, needs, and they have the facilities. How do you actually make sure that those underserved population is served? So I don't think it's as foreign as we would think.
I think it's fair, and it's kind of obligation. You have to, it will be done that way. So, and like for many reasons, people serve, like you have to serve in military, but I was exemption because I am the only son. You have to have another boy, because if you are the only son of the family, you are the one who's going to take care of your parents. So you are exempt. You don't need to serve in the military.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good system.
That's very good system.
And then you go through this mandatory period of serving in the rural areas, underprivileged areas.
Yeah.
And then at this point, I realized that it's nice. It's like primary care, but at very limited level and limited resources.
Sure.
But I knew this is not for me. I need something more dynamic and more rewarding. So while I'm doing this work, I focused on studying for like coming to America to work, because there are lots of studies you have to do and pass exams before you get here.
Before you can get here.
Yeah.
Oh, I always wondered about that, because I do know a lot of people, like what you have done, and they have done their medicine or dental, whatever, in their country, and then they come here and then take the other exams and then continue. But I can see your motivation, because individually, you don't want to be depending on individual personalities. Some people do not flourish in a static environment. They want a dynamic environment. They want an environment where they're challenged. So, there's no better place than US, to make that happen. So that makes perfect sense for me, for you to aspire, to do something like that. So what happens when you come here? Like, when did you come here to the US?
Yes.
After passing all those difficult exams?
I remember the date was September 2005.
Oh, September 2000, special.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Where did you come to?
Well, initially it was Chicago, like my first station.
Yeah.
And then from there, I applied for residency, which is a training period. And this was Wilmington, Delaware,
Yeah.
in St. Francis Hospital. I worked with great doctors. I remember their names and their faces. They are the ones who introduced me to the American way of medicine. And I learned a lot from all of them. So many names. David Hack and all of them. I will never remember these names. And then after that, after finished residency, I applied. You apply for a job, essentially.
Okay.
And then you have to choose between like your office as a general practitioner or a general practitioner, but in a hospital setting. This is the hospitalist came in. It was there, it's not like a, but then I have chosen the hospitalist part because this is really like, to work be part of an hot engine all the time.
I can see the sparkle in your eyes when you talk about it. Obviously, you're excited about it. So tell me about it. So you studied there, and then you did clinicals. Is that?
The residency.
And then the residency.
Yeah, this is the residency.
So residency was primarily in this environment, or did you pick one to be in that environment?
Okay, my residency was a family medicine residency. This is originally, family medicine is more to prepare you to work in an office as a, like, but then when I worked there, I went through the ICU rotation and I was so fascinated.
Yeah.
And then there is the other rotation, which is, it's like the internal medicine rotation, which is like serving the patients inside the hospital. And this is the hospitalist, serving patients who are too sick to be treated in the office. They must be treated in the hospital until they are stable.
Okay.
And this is by definition what's a hospitalist. It's the general doctor who's taking care of the patient in acute care setting. Now it is being recognized as a specialty.
Oh, wow.
It used to be in the past, like the primary care doctor in the office, when his patient goes to the hospital, he follows his patient in the hospital. So he visits him in the hospital, and then after discharge, he gets back to the office. But this was too much for the doctor in the office because he has to cancel appointments and these things. So the process in America, it's for most part now, I rarely know that about the old system anymore. So the general doctor takes care of his patients in the office, and then when they get too sick to be treated in the office, they are referred to the hospital. And then the hospitalist is the generalist for them there. It's the one who coordinates care, the one who takes care of them for their issues.
Wow. So, truly I did not know the details. I did not even know. I've been here for so long, but that's what they were called. So obviously somewhere in between, before you came to Charlotte or after you came to, I don't know, you met your beautiful wife, Vera. Okay, so tell me about it. How did you meet her and how did you get married?
So initially I worked really not in Charlotte, I worked in Maine state in New England. It's funny, I was like half an hour from Canadian border. My wife is here in Charlotte. So it's, I know a priest, okay? Well, we have priests in my religion. It's Orthodox, like the Greek Orthodox, but it's not Greek Orthodox. So, and he knew I'm like in a distant area where nobody from the people I know is there. Like the closest church to me is like 6 hours in Boston.
Who?
Yeah, I did it once, drive to go there, like in 3 years. But then he told me about Vera.
Okay.
So he told me about the name, but it's not like arranged marriage or anything. Like, so we got in contact, and I did in 1 week or so. I flew to Charlotte and met with her, and then
Rest is history.
Yeah.
Beautiful history. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got married and you have children?
2 kids.
2 kids.
Yes.
Girl and a boy, boy, girl, girl. What is it?
It's almost 6 years old. It's 5 years and a half is Joseph, and almost 2 years old Julia.
Okay, so you have 2 kids.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So you came to Charlotte. When did you come to Charlotte?
This is When was it? It was like
Probably
2011, 2012.
2011, yeah, 2011 or 2012. So tell me now about this position, because you obviously are a hospitalist. And tell me, what do they exactly do? What does that day look like? Because I'm just thinking, if it is something like emergency and what you're saying, you will never have the same situation. That means each patient is not same. It's not a routine. So every patient is a surprise. Am I right?
Well, it's
Tell me
exactly
about
like
the position.
everyone you see in your life has his own package.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same for every patient you see. Everyone with his own circumstances, his own acuity, even family situation. There's lots of considerations, and you have to get to know all that within like the very first half an hour, 45 minutes from seeing him, the very first encounter with him. And it's very important because they need to gain confidence in what you're doing, in your personality, and you know, like that's what you're expecting from a doctor.
Yes.
Even if the first time you see him.
Absolutely.
You want to make sure that he's going to take a good care of you. He's listening to you. He's taking care of your issues, even if it looks small to him, but these are the things that matters most. His family, most of them come with their family,
Yes.
daughter, son, husband. They're looking at you, and they are expecting that they have this hope that they are here, and you're the doctor, and you are gonna make the patient do well. So you have to take all this into account. And not mentioning, because they're in the hospital, they are in acute setting that like
Yes.
worse than normal.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, and of course they are not. Everybody wishes he's not gonna stay in the hospital for a long time. So you're gonna do your best as quickly as possible.
So when you see the patients, obviously, as a hospitalist, you probably have to evaluate individual patients, and then, because we all have been for emergencies at one point or the other, whether it is for ourselves or for somebody else.
There's
It's
one
not
quick thing.
emergency.
It's not. I'm not in the emergency department physician. This is different.
Okay.
I'm the one when patient goes to the emergency department, evaluated by the ER doctor, and he thinks he cannot go home. He cannot be discharged back home.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
He needs to stay in the hospital
Yes.
I take it from
Overnight
there.
Okay.
overnight or over the next few days. I take it over from there.
If you do that, then are you also trying to figure out who the specialist should be? Who do you need to call upon?
Whether they need a specialist or not, because not all of them need a specialist, because
Okay.
I should be able to take care of most of the issues.
Oh, you need to know a lot then.
Yeah, that's why it's a generalist.
Okay, I get it. Wow, I mean, it just intimidates me.
No, it's, I mean,
That's a lot of knowledge there.
it's part of the job description, and that's why we need to keep up all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, we take care of from there, even if they need to be admitted to ICU, it's myself.
Yeah.
But then, I have lots of support within my own health system. The one I'm working for, they have lots of subspecialties available if needed. But yeah, we take care of most of it.
Wow. So, in a position like this, what kind of personality do you need to have? What are the qualities and personalities? I mean, it's really pretty intense when I'm listening to it. So, can you tell me briefly, what do you think a person who wants to be in a hospital is? What do they need to have in the personality?
Well, I can tell you a lot, but it comes down to two things.
Yeah.
Good doctor and a good human being. I think that you need to be both. You cannot be one or another. Because good human being, this means listening. You feel to the patient, you listen to him, and you really know, and so you have everything there. And the good doctor, you need to be up to date. You have to. So you have both. You have both qualities. And then you can imagine, it's a lot to say about what about a good man, what good man looks like.
And what does a good doctor look like?
Yeah,
And the listening skills,
everything.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Listening, honest, truth. They have expectation. You have to listen. You have to give them the honest opinion and give them the options available, considering their situation. It's the whole thing, the whole deal, the whole big package should be there. This is a good hospitalist.
Following the policies, procedures.
That
That is a standard for all the doctors.
Not mentioning the regulation, this is another thing. But for a doctor, like to be a good doctor, good hospitalist,
Yeah.
you have to be both, good doctor and good man.
And a lot of patience, not impatient patience, to listen, because they're already very afraid, I would think, coming to that, position.
I think this is one most important thing
Yeah.
that should be there. You cannot be a good doctor without being a good listener. It's hard. And really, it's not only because this makes the patient pleased with you. And I cannot mention how many times I ended up changing the diagnosis based on the fine details you get, because really so many things look the same.
Yes.
And I'll give you one example, like elderly patients, like when 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
for any kind of illness, you can imagine, whether it's infection or stroke or heart attack, they just come with confusion. The only thing you're gonna hear was confusion. That's it. They came with confusion. But how to get of course we have the studies and x-rays and the CTs and you can see the patient on the computer, you know most of it.
Yeah.
But then the story makes a huge difference in changing how to get to the right thing.
Yeah.
So
what is it they actually
yeah,
have?
I think you have to spend a little bit of time listening. This will make a big difference. It's important. It's really
I love
important.
what you're just saying. And listening. I think in today's environment, that becomes a challenge. And thank you so much, really, not only for sharing your story of traveling all the way from Egypt and then aspiring to be a doctor here, and then making a huge difference in our communities, and actually, listening to your patients and making them feel good and do your best, like you said, to be a best doctor, is being a best human. Thank you again for being on our show, and thanks for sharing your story.
And thank you for your team. Thank you. It was a great opportunity.
Yeah, same here, because they have learned something new. And thank you for watching Charlotte, a city of international success. I'm Dr. Maha Gingrich. Please join us again next time, right here on WTVI PBS Charlotte.
A production of PBS Charlotte.